Howdy, folks. Today is Tuesday, February 5th, 6:36 a.m. And let's take a look at the markets today. You can see the futures are looking pretty green now. They were pretty much flat all evening, basically overnight until about 4, I guess, 4 in the morning, and then they just kind of popped up. We're still overbought, though. But looking at the S&P 500, it just keeps climbing. Yesterday, there was quite a spike in price in the last 5 minutes of the day. The strength just keeps showing up. So even though we are overbought, 63 on the oscillator, still overbought. The strength in the market is what is going to overpower what the oscillator says. So I still think we have a risk of being sent down. We're now approaching the 200-day on the S&P. You can see right there. That's the 200-day in red. But just keeps wanting to climb. Let's take a quick look at the NASDAQ also, just so we can see that that's pretty much doing the same thing, approaching the 200. My guess is the 200 would actually be resistance, but we'll have to see what it does. It just keeps finding strength, especially because what I was looking at before was this consolidation right there, and we came right out of that, which is good technically. Came up, formed a base, broke out of it, and now we're climbing again. So I don't know, maybe we'll have enough momentum to punch through the 200-day. We'll see. My watch list, CGC is forming a pretty good pennant. I tried to get out of it yesterday, even had some volume come up, but couldn't stay out. There's a lot of strength coming into these marijuana stocks right now. Cron is one. The other one I had was ACB. CGC, I think even Tilray was up yesterday. Yeah, up but pulled back kind of like CGC. So this is gapping up this morning also. So hopefully yesterday was just kind of a precursor. There's a little bit of resistance above that. It got hit by it. Maybe we've exhausted that. And today we break out with this gap up and actually go higher. Tandem, I like this one a lot. You see that sideways action. I love that. And then you can see kind of where the resistance point is up here. Hopefully it just starts climbing up and we continue higher on that one. GRUB, today's the 5th. Earnings are on the 7th. Earnings are on Thursday. I believe they're after the close. I'm hoping that doesn't break out, kind of like when I was looking at ABiomed. Again, a good pattern right before earnings. I'm hoping it doesn't break out. And then maybe the earnings pop it out and we can have a viable opportunity there. Square I added back in. Why? Because after this big gap down on the downgrade and the sell-off, this line has continued to hold it up and continues to hold it up after that. And now we have a clear resistance level right at the bottom of the gap. And it's touched it a couple times. Touched it yesterday, tried to break out here, got sent back below. And that's the point where it started to sell there. But that's a clear line right there. And this is now an ascending triangle. So if we get enough momentum going, Square could get buying and get moving up. You can see the volume has also dropped off down here. As it goes sideways, volume has dried up. It's usually good in a triangle to see the volume dry up because it creates a point of resistance where once institutional buying comes in, bang, there's nothing left there to hold it down, and then it pushes it higher. Netflix, man, I still don't know what this thing is doing. Had buying yesterday on no volume. $11, of course, that's a great move, right? But there's no volume coming into this stock right now. That's usually bad. However, there's a clear resistance line up there. And as we climb up, we're creating an ascending triangle. So we have a rising wedge or a rising channel within an ascending triangle. And volume is drying up. So if this is actually an ascending triangle and it's going to break through the highs, I would imagine volume is just going to slam this thing and show up and drive the stock higher. But it still seems bearish to me. I don't know. Keep an eye on both levels. This for potential breakdown, this for potential breakout. It could go either way as far as I'm concerned. And either way is viable. because once the volume shows up in the direction it's moving, you know what it's doing at that point. Aurora Cannabis, tons of volume yesterday, broke out. So if you bought that, you're in really good shape. Just hold your stop. And I think cannabis stocks are going to keep climbing here. There's seems like a lot of momentum coming into them right now. Xilinx still has that upper level. Didn't break out or anything. It's just holding below. Facebook I added back in because now that it's broken out of this long-term funk that it was in, this was a channel, bunch of mess here. There was an ascending triangle there, broke out here, little base there, and then earnings shot it higher. But it blew away its numbers, had far better earnings than anybody else thought it was going to have, and now we're consolidating up above here. So just keep an eye on it. I've just marked a couple levels here, the highest high and the low area. You know, I imagine it's going to go higher, so just keep an eye on those levels, and if it breaks higher above the highest high there, that's a buy. Align, apparently it had really good numbers too, even though it sold off on them and then got bought like crazy, so I don't know. Anyway, the chart looks really good, lots of volume dumped in, and it starts going sideways. Breakout would be above the highest high there. So let's take a quick look through the other ones that I've been watching. Paycom, another leap higher. I would moving really well. I would say you might want to take some out there. With that gap out, you might want to get out of it. Get out while it's going up. Don't wait for it to stop you out. Palo Alto is still looking really strong. You might want to stay in that one because a lot of the techs in general are seeing a lot of strength. Biomed, that thing got smoked actually. Some news came out and said there was a higher mortality rate in one of their drugs or pieces of equipment or something like that, which just smoked it. Biomed's probably done. I wouldn't even look at it anymore right now. Data, its earnings are coming out, I think today, before or after the close, so just keep an eye on that guy. Don't buy that before the earnings or anything. Domo, consolidating after popping out. I'd like to see more volume. Trade Desk is really strong. Coming out of this base, started climbing, and then lots of volume yesterday. It should consolidate again shortly though, because you started seeing some topping tails come in. ZS, big pop out, looking good. That thing looks really good. MongoDB, there's no volume, but the price is moving up. And PXD had pretty good volume here, but not a very big price movement. And then now we're starting to get a bit more price movement. Again, not so much volume coming in though. So if you bought it, I would just hang on to it, hold your stop. So that's it. Lots of different things going on, lots of different patterns forming. As long as the momentum continues to the upside, that is. So if you like these videos, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want. And the next one will be tomorrow. Have a good one.